Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to do some watercolor painting. And continuing on with the Halloween theme, I'm going to paint a witch. I've got her drawn out here. Whoop, there she is in the corner right there. And I am ready to do this. I'm a little tired, but I'm ready to do this. I'm excited to paint this witch. Getting some particulars out of the way, first of all, let's talk about paper. This is my Fabriano Studio paper. It's got nice texture to it. It's 25% cotton. It's very nice everyday paper. The paints that I'm going to use are let's get them centered right in there. These are my M-gram paints in my normal studio palette, and the brushes that I'm going to be using tonight are going to be my King Art paint brushes. There they are, the 90-20 pointed round series. I want to say hello and welcome to Natalie and Thirsty for a Brew. If Thirsty's here, Minty Mintington is probably here too. So welcome to you all. I'm going to kind of jump right in with this, and let's see what I want to do. Where do I want to start with this? I think I'm going to start with just a nice little bit of green. Now, I'm going to make a few changes to my reference photo. Right, I'm looking around for a reference photo. I didn't find one that I liked completely. So I found this one, and, it's a classic picture of a witch. It's not actually a picture, it's a drawing, a rendering or whatever of a witch. And that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. But she's got white, white skin. And I want my witches to have, like, Wizard of Oz green skin. I don't know why. That just seems better to me. So I'm going to paint her with some nice green skin here. So I'm going to mix up just a really nice light little puddle of green, and I'm going to put this on her face and hands just as a start. Trying to be careful not to paint into her eyes, which I've drawn there. That would probably be a good thing to not have green eyes also, I suppose. Now, I don't know if anybody else is getting into the Halloween spirit yet. At my house, we are we're about this close to being full go for Halloween. We really kind of started, not really going all out for Halloween, but doing quite a bit more than we used to for Halloween. And having some fun with decorating the house and trying to scare some of the neighbors and whatnot. So we're going all out with that. I have a nice gorilla costume that I break out all the time to wear for Halloween. Last year I wore it into work. Actually, I didn't wear it into work. I took it into work and put it on at work because if you can imagine, a gorilla suit is pretty warm, and so I couldn't wear it all day long. So I just slipped it on over top of my normal clothes during any meetings that I had to go to or anything, and then quickly excused myself so I could go back and change out of it at some other point in time, and then return to my meetings as my normal self, because that's when you wish you're in Halloween in, I don't know, the upper Midwest or the Northeast or something, where it really cools down for Halloween, because that is one warm costume. Let's see, I got a little bit of her ankle down here too. Okay, so you can start to see what's going on. Susie is here. Hello, Susie Moon. Thank you for joining me this evening. Hi there, my pretties. Right, exactly. That's the witch I want. That's the only one you really want to see. That's some Wizard of Oz lingo for you. That's what I want. Okay. And while I'm waiting for her face to dry up a little, or her skin, I should say, I'm going to grab just a little bit of this yellow ochre, and I'm going to start doing the bristles here on her broom. Right? We're going to paint over this with some darks and put in some low lights here. So we can start with something like something really light and bright, like this yellow ochre. I don't know, I was kind of disappointed when I first saw the Harry Potter movie, and they pulled out his Firebolt. What was it? Firebolt 2000? Oh no, it was a Nimbus 2000. It was just a Firebolt. But when they pulled out his Firebolt, or maybe it was the old broomsticks that the school had on hand, and they were just twigs. They were twigs back here, and I kind of looked at that and went, "Oh, that is not right. That should be straw or some kind of hay or reeds or something like that." I don't know. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way that it was just sticks. But this broom, actually, looking at it, I don't know that you could use that to broom anything up with, sweep anything up with, but got a nice beginning of a broom here. I've got the top of all these bristles on this side, so let's paint some up here too. There we go. Oh, we're getting somewhere. It's a testament. Yeah, okay. All right, so you're saying the school had to buy some heavy duty stuff because the kids really beat those up. Okay, I can go with that. And the broom handle here, maybe I can put a little bit of this yellow ochre in, but I'm just basically going to use burnt umber for that just to start with. Right? I don't know if we have any new viewers here this evening. We got a few people who have tuned in. If you're here, say hello. Love to put a face with a name, but we don't really put a face with a name. I see letters, sometimes faces, whatever you've put into YouTube. But I'd like to put a conversation with a name. Anyways, so say hello if you would. Like I said, would love to hear from you. You know what? I thought about this wrong. I thought I could do this whole broom handle, and I really can't do it. Not all right now, anyways. But we can do a little bit of it. Her hands are still a little bit wet up here. And I've got to wait for a little bit to dry here, but I think I can go back in. I think I can already go back in with a little bit of green and start to layer on just a little bit of dark. Let's see, like behind her jawline, underneath her chin down here. This probably gets a dark color down there so we can start to define where her chin is at. Let me know, because I can see this and it's not a big deal for me, but let me know if you need me to zoom in on this so you can see it a little bit better, right? I can push the whole camera down a little bit and you'll be able to check it out even that much better than you can now. A little area above her eye up here. All right, that's dark. Got some here. I didn't realize this was going to be quite so small. In fact, let me just do this. Whoop. I'll try to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing, but then you're going to have to remind me later to zoom back out a little bit. And go a little bit around the side of her nose and underneath to give a little bit of shadow there and make it stand out just a bit. Let's see, my focus is flickering tonight. My focus? Or the camera's focus? Camera's focus. Because it could go either way. Hocus focus. Right. Right. I'm just going to turn this over this way and a little tiny line to help define her nose on the top edge here. I hope you all can see. I wasn't thinking about it, obviously. There you can see a little bit of her face there tonight. The camera seems better since I zoomed in. Yeah, you know what? You know what it is? The camera doesn't like a lot of white. So the larger... It sounds a bit weird, but I think it's too much light reflecting back on into the camera lens. So if I can narrow it down and get, you know, some other colors in there, it usually tends to be a bit better after you get those other colors on there. So the fact that this is a pretty small area and I'm just trying to get some of that white off of there. I think that's probably what's doing it. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. Okay, so now I've got to make a decision. Right, I've got some hands. I got her face. I can paint around all. I can paint around all of this, but I need to decide what color her robes are. Right, so. I can make her robes gray or black like they are. Whoop, where's it at? Oh, over there. Or I can make them like something else, like purple or I don't know, some other color. What do you think? Should I do a dark color, a black, a neutral tint, something like that? I think if I'm going to go for that classic. I think I misplaced a brush. I think if I'm going to go for a classic purple. Natalie, you're saying purple. I'm going to say if I go for that classic color, I don't know which is where black, but honestly, when I thought about this and I wanted to do her face green, purple was the first color that came to my mind. So I'm going to go with you on the purple. Let's do some purple robes on her. I think that's a great idea. And I'm going to start by just putting some color on her lower half down here. I'm going to do this kind of in two halves. And we could do it any way that we want to. I mean, you could do her whole robe all at once. Or we can do half and half. I'm just choosing the half and half option. And I'm starting with a layer of, what kind of purple is this? This is cobalt violet. And then we're gonna darken this up and darken this up. And then this layer of cobalt violet is gonna end up being our highlights. On here, more cobalt violet. And you can see already on here, the one really cool thing about cobalt violet, which is really kind of a cool thing about most of the cobalt colors, is it's really granulating. You can really see it in there. Look at all of that. That's pretty cool. Liza, welcome. Welcome. Yes, painting a witch for my Halloween, my month of Halloween madness. I've just defined my stream. Month of Halloween madness. Next month we'll do some fall or Thanksgiving madness or some such thing as that. I don't know. But Halloween comes around once a year, and it's the only time we're all allowed as adults to dress up and play pretend and have some fun and whatnot. So I just want to celebrate that and some of the remembrances I have of characters and things that I remember from my Halloween growing up. So since we're talking about it, basically because I just brought it up, from me and my little dog Toto, that's hysterical. So I'm going to ask the question, does everybody or does anybody remember, or I should pose it this way, what do you remember being your first Halloween costume? How about that? Let's pose it that way. I'll tell you what mine is. I remember my first two. Well, the first two I remember, I know what they were. That's a better way to say it. So I'm gonna paint her hat up here for a second, and you guys think about it, and let me know what you remember your first Halloween costume to be. Not the one that your mom or your dad said, hey, you used to be a whatever. It's the one you remember first. Liza, so we're painting a picture of you right here. This is what you're saying? Did you have purple robes and a purple hat, or did you have a different color? I'm just going to tell you, I hated the plastic. Oh, come on, the with the single strap of elastic that went behind your head. Those were awesome. I love the face mask. They were hot and they were uncomfortable. But they were awesome. There we go. Ooh, man, that is really granulating. Sleepy Susie, you're sleeping beauty. Okay, all right. Natalie, I don't remember any special costumes. It was often whatever quirky things we found in the closet. All right, that's respectable. I totally get that. My first costume, I this is so stupid. I just remember the making of this taking so long. I was a triceratops. I don't know why. Everybody had the store-bought costumes, with that mask like we're talking about. Not me. No way. My mom made me, she made me, she didn't make me the costume, she made me wear the costume she wore, or she made, but she made me wear a Triceratops costume, and my brother was a T-Rex, and she made the costumes, dyed the fabric from white, made the wire form that it went over, and sewed zippers into the back of it so we could get in and get out of it. And so for the first Halloween I remember, I was a Triceratops. Had the the three horns up here, had a tail coming out the the back there, and I hated it. Mom of the century. looking back, yeah, I was like, holy cow, that was a lot of work. And she not only did she do mine, right, but she did my brother too, and he was a T-Rex, and it was like, a little less intricate, but still a lot of work to do to sew it all and do all. Oh, I just think, oh my God, I remember her having a big pot and putting the RIT dye in it and dyeing the fabric a specific color and everything like that. Oh man. Let's see, Natalie, you sewed some wonderful costumes for your kids. Okay, cool. Let's see, my family still calls me Liza the Witch. And my second one, I was determined not to be a dinosaur for my second Halloween. So I went as Luke Skywalker. I put on I can still remember it. I had a pair of long johns that I wore as the top, and I had a belt that I normally wore, and I went down to my dad's tool chest and I got everything that had like a little clip on it and put it on there. Michael, who in your early life most encouraged your creativity? So that's oh man, you know what I just did? Oh, I didn't want to do this. I'm going to answer your question in just a second. I just noticed. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get that out of there. There's a little space in here that I didn't mean to paint into. Oh well, we'll figure that out. That's a great question. I would say probably my art teacher. Not anybody in my family for sure. There was not a lot of time in my household for art and whatnot. I guess maybe my dad, because he would from time to time let me work on the wood lathe, and we made a lot of candlesticks. I made a lot of candlesticks. A lot of candlesticks. But I grew up in a household where I guess art and creativity through artwork like this wasn't certainly was not a priority, and there was much more of a priority put on getting things done around the house or around the yard. It's much more than anything like this. And the first time I ever picked up a paintbrush or did anything other than writing, really, would have been in, like elementary school with my art teacher, Mrs. Mudrak. Still remember Mrs. Mudrak? And I don't know that I had any kind of a talent for artwork then, but she certainly encouraged everybody to express themselves through their artwork, and that was kind of nice. So that was, and to not necessarily do the assignments that we were told we had to do. She would have some assignments that we had to do, but then she would have a lot of open-ended assignments where we could really kind of be creative. And I've still got a couple of the things that I did even back then. It's funny because even then, if you were to go to I grew up in a very small town area. So Mrs. Mudrak was not only my elementary school art teacher, she was also my junior high school art teacher and my senior high school art teacher. So I spent a lot of time with Miss Mudrak. But she would allow us to do a lot of extracurricular stuff and not so much directed learning, but experiential learning. But you know, honestly, I probably would have done more with it even then. But my best friend across the street from me lived across the street from me growing up. His name was John Jones. I know. It doesn't sound like a real person, but I promise you, John and Jim and Andrea grew up across the street from me. Moved away I don't know, when I was 10 or so, 12, 10 or 12, they moved down to Texas, and I kind of lost touch with them. Kind of wish I hadn't, but John was an unbelievable artist, and he could draw anything and everything and make it look unbelievably fantastic, whether you wanted it realist or fantasy or abstract or anything. He just had that knack where he could do it. And so a lot of the time he and I would be running around and we would think something up, and then he would just draw it up, and I would just watch and go, wow, okay, cool. So I didn't, I was in the shadow of somebody a lot better. Natalie, you loved your teacher so much you wanted to become an art teacher, but you didn't. Why not? You should have. I hope John finds me via YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. It's been 30 years or so since let's see. Oh, it's been more than that. Probably close to 40 years since I've spoken to him even. It's a long time. I still remember his dad had this giant, I mean, it was giant because it was a big car. It was a Nomad that we could fit all the kids in the neighborhood into. There were only 5 of us, 6 of us, but we could fit all of us into it. It was this massive thing. Google him. Oh, I could Google him. This massive car. Right, I say that because we always had little tiny cars. And they had this huge thing. And then they had a pool table in their basement. So we used to go over there and play pool in their basement all the time. Especially in the summer when we were out of school and it was hot. It was nice to go down into the basement where it was cool and play a cool game, right? Some good times. We had some good times. My high school art teacher didn't think I had any talent. What? Oh, come on. I couldn't get the grades to get into a college program from her. That is a form of art. That's absolutely a form of art. Going to beauty school, absolutely. Let's see. I should tell you. I never went to beauty school, but I've been cutting my own hair for many, many years. It probably looks like it. I think I've gotten my hair cut professionally let's see, I've lived on the central coast of California now for 17, 18 years. And I think I've had my hair professionally cut here maybe 5 times. Usually I cut it myself. I haven't been doing such a good job lately. Yeah, you would kill for my hair. I got to keep it all pinned back, or every time I look down, it just falls in front of my face. I can't see anything. Your hairdresser is a true artist. I love her. I bet you have your own fans. I'm sure you do. When I lived in Long Beach, in Southern California, when I was going to school down there, I would go and see. Oh, now see, now I'm trying to think of her name. I would go and see her to get my hair cut. I would only go to one person. I liked her a lot. But I would cut my hair 2 or 3 or 4 times, and then by that time it would start to get a little lopsided and off center. and then I'd go to her and she'd clean it up, and we'd have fun talking about whatever, and then I'd go off again and cut my own hair for another while again. Your question, why do I cut my own hair? I don't know. I'm pretty frugal, and I fancy myself a bit of a homesteader, especially now. So if I can do something myself, rather than have somebody else do it, I always try to do it. Saves a little money, saves some time and energy driving around. And if I can do a similar or, same or similar job, then I'm usually happy to do it on myself. Saves a lot of money. It does save a lot of money. In my life, I've bought 2 pairs of clippers to cut my hair with. I think the first one cost, it was a long time ago, probably cost $20, $25. I don't know. Not a whole lot. This last one cost me $30. I bought it on a Black Friday sale. $30, and I've had it for 10 years. Yeah, okay, you dye your hair. It saves a lot of money. I might have to start dyeing mine. I got a lot of gray coming into mine. I'm not sure I like it. Maybe I'm going to come over to your house, and then I'll have you dye my hair. I'll trade you some an artwork for a for a dye job. How's that? Let's see. I leave the haircutting to professionals. Oh, come on. It's an adventure. Well, okay, so, right, I guess the way my hair is now, it's long enough. I could just cut the ends, and that would be pretty good. That would be pretty easy. But my hair used to be really short. So it was really easy, just a clipper and be done. And I didn't have to worry too much about too much. Really easy. But I cut my kids' hairs. How do I think? So my son is, well, he's 16. He's never been to a barber shop. Oh, no, that's not true. He's been to a barber shop a couple of times. But usually it's just me cutting his hair. Look at this. This hat's turning out good. My ends would make you a lovely wig. Here, we'll cut some off and send them to you. That's funny. I actually, whoops, now see, I've had my hair long enough now that everybody who sees me recognizes me with long hair, and nobody remembers what I look like with short hair. You must be using M-gram. Cobalt violet is very pigmented. Where am I at? Ugh. So the first layer is cobalt violet, right? And that's what I got this color with. Now I'm making my own purple here, and it's ultramarine or phthalo and alizarin crimson. I think that makes a lovely violet color. You want to see what I do to her hair? Well, I'm going to tell you now. So there's a couple of things on here that are always kind of tricky for me. One is hair. Right? Hair's tough to paint regardless. I'm gonna put some dark on here a little bit, and we're gonna see if we can't get while I'm waiting for this area to dry a little bit. We're gonna see if we can't get some, roundness on some of this broom here. It's not necessarily a flat broom. It's not super rounded, right? There's going to be lots of other stuff going on in here, but maybe we can make it look a little rounder than not. Maybe we'll leave a little bit coming on here. So hair's one thing I have trouble with. Faces I have quite a bit of trouble with. Doesn't mean I don't continue to try to do them. They just cause me issues. They don't like me. Painted hair. That's why I don't do a lot of animal paintings, because hair and fur I find so challenging. So I tend to not do too much of that. Am I still on screen for most of the stuff that you're seeing, or am I moving off a little bit? Maybe I should move this up just a little bit. That might give you a little bigger area there. And I think, let's see. Let's paint some boots on her. I'm just going to go with brown boots. Or we could go with black. What do you think? Brown or black boots? Let's try black. What do you think? This is one of those times I ask a question and it's funny because I ask and I look up here and I expect you guys to answer right away. But there's about a 40-second delay in what I ask and then what I hear back from you guys. I actually timed it. Black boots, let's go with it. I actually timed it when I started the stream today, and it was, if I had my timing right, it was 43 seconds from the time I do something on screen until the time it shows up on YouTube. Which is with black boots. And I'm just going to paint both of them at once. I don't typically use black. You all know that. I've talked about not using a whole lot of black before. I think in this instance we're fine. If you all had wanted me to paint her robes black or gray, I was going to mix my own, which is always a fun experiment. But you get a lot of really rich, vibrant, interesting colors. Let's see, Susie's 3,000 miles away. Susie, do we know where you're at? I know you know where you're at. Are you in Australia? Susie, whoa. Maryland is not 3,000 miles. Maryland is just over 2,000, I think. It's not that far. Let's see. When I used to fly from LA to Cleveland, I think it was just under 2,000 miles. I thought it was just over 2,200 to New York City. I don't know. Anyway, you're a long way away. I don't know. It's too late in the day to do math for me. I'll take your word for it. You're a long way away. Let's just leave it at that. I'm going to try to mix up a little bit more purple here. I think black is one color to never buy because you can make your own. You can make your own. I just have that little bit over there in the corner. Did my lights go off? Oh, it's all dark. Hold on. Now you can probably see my palette a little bit better. Oops, I just put purple in there. I've got that one little spot in the corner of my palette that is black, and it's about all of the black that I have. It's been there for a long time. It's been there for years. I don't use a whole lot of black. Some people use more black than I do, and it's fine. I just think black is not the most exciting color all the time. It's oftentimes so much nicer to make your own dark. It doesn't have to be black, but your own dark. Let's see, my husband is in New York right now, and from Phoenix to there's just over 2,000. Google says 20. Okay. I'm wrong. I'm wrong plenty. I'm okay. Let's see, there's a little ripple in her coat right there, I think. Do I clean my palette for each painting? Usually, not always. It depends upon what I'm doing. I used to clean it. I used to clean my palette after each painting, and I don't do that anymore. I clean it if I'm going to clean it. I'll clean it before each painting. It kind of flies in the face of convention a little bit because you would say, well, you're just going to leave it there and you're going to get some staining on it, and you don't know what your next painting is going to be. Why leave it there, and blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. But there are some times when I look at it and I go, I think I can reuse some of those colors on my next painting. And if I'm doing a video like this, I almost always clean it out. But if I'm just going to sit down and paint for fun on a Friday afternoon or something, I'll probably leave it there and use it during the next one. My next painting. Or if I am going to, like, I got this painting started this week, right? Whoop. It's in orange, right? You can see it here. I got it started this week, and I did that in 2 different sessions. And I knew I was going to take a break in between, so I didn't bother to clean my palette then. It just, you know, not really a reason to there. Could have. Could have. It wouldn't have bothered anything. I can always get those same colors back. Sometimes people don't like to have to mix colors a second time if they don't have to. I think I've been doing it long enough. It doesn't bother me. I can usually get pretty close to the original colors if I have to. How's that look? She's starting to look 3D-ish here, right? Dang, don't get you hungry. Wait. What did we talk about that would make you hungry? Did I miss something? I probably did. What did I miss? Did we talk about food? Uh-oh. Liza, help me out. What what did I miss? Have you ever tried loose painting? I have. I have. Actually, I should say one of the things I really like to do is, and it's weird because so many things that I used to do, I don't anymore, for good or for bad. Whoops, you can hardly see what I'm doing here. One of the things I really used to like to do, and I've done challenges with this before, and yeah, see, this is too dark here. I don't know if it's the cobalt underneath or if it's the alizarin crimson that's staining a little bit. I think this is just a little too dark. But one of the things I like to do is, and you can try this yourself, and it's a fun experiment to try, is to do a 5 brushstroke painting, or a 10 brushstroke painting, or a 2-minute painting. The painting I show, my orange here looks like mandarin. I gotta take a little of the color out here. I think it got a little too dark here. Some of the whites, and then I've got to darken up. Well, anyway, that's a whole different one. We're working on this one right now. But if you can do a 5 brushstroke painting or a 10 brushstroke painting or something like that, it always is going to come out in a much looser fashion than, I don't know if then you want, but it's going to come out pretty loose. And you're gonna have to kind of distill down what you are doing or what you're thinking, because you can't put in a whole lot of details. So sometimes it takes quite a bit of forethought to do, but it's a fun experiment to try. And you don't even have to try it on like expensive, good paper or whatever. You can do that on studio grade paper. You could probably do it on I don't know, cartridge paper or a brown paper bag or whatever. It's because you're typically not using a whole lot of water, so you're not soaking into too much paper to really get the benefit of, in this case, the sizing that's on your page or anything like that. But it's a fun thing to try sometimes. But it forces you to really loosen up. I guess it's kind of like doing a 1 minute, 2-minute drawing as you're warming up in a drawing class or something like that. It's kind of along the same vein, right? It makes you think, what can I leave out that isn't necessary to the painting, or what do I have to leave in that makes the painting what it is, right? It makes that subject what it is rather than, extra detail or some such thing as that. Will you consider doing a challenge next week for this on a Wednesday? I don't know that I'll do that on a Wednesday. I would consider doing it on like an extra Saturday painting or something like that. Yeah, I'm not against it. I'm just a little reluctant to. I've I've grown accustomed to having my Wednesdays be a specific way, and I don't want to mess with that. Actually, let me ask you guys this: if you look at my stream, you look at the information that's down below on my page. Is there a section for like membership down there? I tried to set up like a membership area, and I think right now you get some fun emojis or something like that if you do it. But what I was thinking of doing was, it's fine. It's I'm not opposed to it. I like it. And I like the challenge of it. It's quite fun to do. I lost my train of thought. YouTube keeps asking me, do I want to set up memberships and this and that? So my thought was I could set up a membership and do I don't know about it every week, but like maybe every other week do a Saturday stream. That would be just for members, right? And we could delve into other stuff like that. We could have broader discussions on paints and brushes and papers, and really get into more of the nitty gritty of watercoloriness stuff, if that makes sense to you. But I never really looked. I kind of set that up and never really looked to see if it ever made it to the bottom of the channel or the bottom of the page. And then this morning, YouTube sent me a message that said, "Hey, your rewards aren't fully set up." And I went, "I thought I did that." But so maybe they're there, maybe they aren't. But I would think that would be a great place for that kind of stuff. For anybody who wants to get a little deeper dive into the understanding of, the intricacies of paint, or the intricacies of different types of paper, how the different papers interact with water, or different water levels and whatnot like that. And like I said, I'm happy. Anybody have any interest in anything like that? I thought it'd be a fun thing to do. I'll probably do this. I'm usually pretty busy and don't get around to it right away. But I did think that would be a fun thing to do. Instead of I've had some people ask me if I do Patreon stuff. Susie, you don't see it down there. Okay. Well, if you just see that normal stuff that's down there, then maybe it's not there. Oh, I like the way she's turning out. Oh, I like the side there. You can really see like the fabric is. Like it's got some, what do you call that? I was going to say turn, but that's not what I'm looking for. But it's definitely dark underneath, underneath her arm there, right? Okay, so it's just coffee. It's just PayPal. It's not there. Okay, I'll look at that. Maybe that's something that'll come up in the future if anybody has any interest in that. And I don't know if Thirsty is still here. I think I've done that. He might remember. I think I've done that on Twitch before, a long time ago. He might remember. The folds give it great dig. Folds! There you go. Thank you. I'm trying to think what. It gives it life to everything. Those extra lines in there, right? This line here gives it some extra life to the robes flowing down here, right? There's some. I don't want to not make this dark enough, right? Especially since I talk so much about lights and darks, right? I want to make sure these folds are dark. I want to make sure this area back here, let me do it this way. Back here, right on her back foot back there, I want to make sure that's dark. I want there to be a distinct difference between what you see in the foreground and what you see in the background. There needs to be a big difference there. And I think we're getting to that. Okay, we need hair. Hair. Okay, my arch nemesis. Black hair or silver hair? Black hair or silver hair? What did the witch have in Liza? Where are you? What did the witch have in Wizard of Oz? You remember that? Not sure I do. I think she had black hair, did she not? I would swear. It has to have been black hair, right? It must be. See, all of these fingers can be pretty dark under here. Her thumb. Goes right around. It was black, but I think silver would be fun. Silver would be fun. Right, silver. You're right. Silver would be great. How do I, note to self, how do I pull off silver? Silver would be awesome if I could figure out how to do that. I know how to do that. I can cheat. Don't I have silver? All right, I'm going to cheat. Hold on. I don't want to give her Payne's Gray. That's not silver. But I have this color. Look at that. Lovely does that look. Gray of gray. This is, oh, she had brown hair. This is, a bit of paint that I got at an estate sale. And I just want to get some of this color out of here before I put some gray down there. There we go. I got this at an estate sale and have never used it. Silver would be great. Use gray undertone and turquoise chrome. I don't have turquoise chrome. Ooh, let's see what this looks like. Oh, well, that's gray. I don't know that we're going to see a whole lot from this. Let's check it out. It's almost white. Can you look? What it's on is totally white. My gray of gray is. So we are gonna have to darken this up. I can't use if I use turquoise, somebody's gonna call her a blue hair, and then she's gonna get upset. I can't use turquoise. Oh, the color I use for chrome. Oh, yeah, Payne's gray and turquoise. Yeah, I could do that. Let's just give her a base coat of this gray first of all. Let's see how this looks. Oh, I didn't paint under the underside of her hat here. Oh, we got a lot of work to go. This is this is more than I thought it was going to be. I actually, when I found this image, I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool image. And then I looked at it and I went, oh, I don't know if there's going to be enough here. I mean, look at it. It's pretty plain, right? And we've been doing a lot with it. I think when it's all said and done, our witch is going to look a lot better than our reference photo there. Okay, I guess I glossed over this and I didn't say too much about it. This is only a couple of lines and some burnt umber and yellow ochre. Burnt umber and yellow ochre over here. And that's a fairly convincing broom, right? That's not too bad. Let's see. I'm going to go back to my black, right? Because she needs to match the band in her hat with her shoes down here. I think that's how that works. So I'm going to put a black band on her hat. Something like this. There it is. Oops. How many people do we have here? We have 8 people here. So, I have a question for you all because I have a weird thing. I don't like. I'm gonna put just a little bit of purple in here. I don't like to draw with a normal pencil. I drew this with a normal pencil, but I don't really I don't like to do that. Right? Do you guys have a particular pencil that you all like to draw with? Asking for a friend, not for me. Just, you know. There, now I got a little bit of a purple tint in there. I took some of the color out, and now I think that helps to accentuate some of the purple. And maybe a couple of wrinkles in her hat. I draw with a 2H, but erase a lot of it. I'm going to tell you guys something really weird in just a second. Let's see, which one of these feet is in front? This foot is in front. That foot is behind. Because I was doodling today. I probably shouldn't have been doodling. Daniel M, are you using different brushes for different sections and why? Daniel M, I'm using different size brushes because I don't have quite the manual dexterity to use a giant brush in a tiny little area like this. Although you totally could. The brushes that I'm using are pointed round brushes. If you give me just a second here, I'll show you exactly what I mean. So before I continue with my, I'm going to let that dry for a second. Before I continue with my pencil talk, pull out a piece of scrap paper while this is drying. And you know what? Unfortunately, her hair isn't drying very quickly. Look at the sheen that's still on there. It's got a lovely gray color, but man, it's taking forever to dry. So these two brushes, actually these three brushes, all by the same company. They're all in the same line. It's the 90-20 line of brushes. I love these brushes. And they're called pointed rounds because they come to, right, you can see quite a fine point. Now, in theory, you should be able to create a very fine line with this big fat brush, and so you wouldn't have to use a smaller brush to create that line. So I can create about the same size line with those two brushes, and then see if I can get any thinner with this one. I can get a little thinner with this. You can see it's pretty thin there. Pretty thin in there. But you could use, since they're pointed round brushes, ouch, and they all come to a fantastic point. I could use one brush for the whole thing. It's just comfort level. Getting into a small area, I feel more comfortable with a bit of a smaller brush rather than using a giant large brush. That's all. Okay, any brush needs that steady hand, that's for sure. I use whatever pencil, Natalie, you use whatever pencil you can find, usually drafting pencil. Okay, are you ready for this? I don't use any of those. The pencil I like, construction pencils. And look, I've even got my giant pencil sharpener to sharpen them with. And I don't know why I started drawing with these, but I think that the fact that they're not round and I have to hold it slightly differently kind of resets my brain a little bit, and I think slightly differently about how I draw because of it. The only drawback of this is that the lead is very soft, and then I end up erasing quite a bit of it. But I've always got this. I've always got this on my desk here, and if I have to do any drawing, not for a watercolor painting, I'm always picking up my construction pencil to do that. Liza, your dad was in construction. You haven't seen one of those in years. Your husband would be upset if your husband should be happy to give you some of those pencils. I think you're looking at it wrong. He should go, absolutely, if it will help you. If you could develop a deeper talent, I'm happy to give you some of my construction pencils. I actually just saw some for sale at Home Depot, and I was like, oh, I should pick up some of these. I think they were 10 or 15 cents a piece, something like that. They certainly were not very much. But then I didn't, and I should have. Sue, hello. Hello, Michael. I'm Sue. Enjoy your watercolor lessons, but not here much. Does your witch have green socks? Oh, oh, down here. No, that's not a green sock. That's a green leg. Her boots are short. That's a green leg. That's a great question, though. Whoops. She doesn't have green socks. She has a green leg. Okay, let's see. We're going to, oh, that's mostly phthalo green. That's going to leave a mark. Literally. We need to get some shading on her face. Again, it's a tight area here. So we're dealing with tiny, tiny amounts, but I want to get some of that on there. Sue, I like the question you're going for, though. Don't stop asking questions, and I don't mean to make fun of the answer. I'm more making fun of myself than anything. So please keep asking questions. I love when people ask questions. It makes the stream so much fun. Oh, and Bicycle Repairman is here. Long time no see, my friend. Good to see you. I hope all is well in your world. Looks like the witch is holding onto air. Yes, I will be coloring that part of the broom. I'll tell you what, Daniel M. I'll do that right now, just for you. Let's get that in. Let's see. She's got a little bit of shadow here on her forehead. I'm trying to be a little careful that I don't touch that gray. Oh, her face it's coming together there. All right, cool. So let's finish out our broom handle. It does look like she's touching air a little bit, just grabbing onto some air. Now that I've got her hands painted, we can finish this off. And we can actually, let's do this. Give me some of the sepia in here too, just a little bit. And probably make this a little darker right on through here. So we get a little bit of roundness in there, and then just a line, just a tiny line on the top of that. And if I turn it over this way, now it looks round. Look, miraculous. I don't know. I don't know who ever showed that to me. But I need to find out and thank them a million times over, because that little bit of dark on the top really sets off the roundness. What's my favorite Halloween candy? Let's see. Liza, I'll tell you. Let's see. Susie has another question. After I gave that a little more thought, I realized that was her leg. All good. All good. It's all good. What is my favorite Halloween candy? I didn't do so good with the broomstick back here, did I? I think what's happening is I've got a little piece of paper right up there, a little bit of paper towel that I use to dab my brush on so it's not too wet. And I think that I've gotten it too damp by using it too much. How dare I use it that much? What's my favorite Halloween candy? Probably the same candy that I like the most anyways, and that's probably going to be Reese Cups. I love Reese Cups. Cosmic Crisp Apple. I do like Cosmic Crisp apples, that's for sure. Let's see. We need to do, before I come and do her other shoe down here, let's accentuate her nose a little bit more. Let's see, and I'm going to accentuate her nose by merely putting a color around everything that is not her nose. And let's hope that it doesn't turn out looking like a mustache underneath there. And you know what's really going to help this too is if we, let's do this, if we define the rest of her mouth here. Just, I'm trying to look down here to see what I don't want to touch. A little bit of red. And then I'm going to go right back into my black and paint everything that's not a tooth in here. So, if I can remember what is not a tooth. She needs a wart. She does need a wart. We're going to get to a wart. We'll find a nice wart for her nose. Oh, she looks hideous. I think that's how she's supposed to look. I think I just went just ever so slightly too much there. Oh, that's better. So much better. And then a little bit of black on this side of the tooth. Oh, now I kind of wiped that red off a little bit. Let's give her, there we go. Oh, you can't see. Oh, it's running. I think it's good. I think it's good. Look, you see, like it's, I don't know, that maybe that's her tongue in there or something like that. Something. Okay, let's see. A wart on her nose. This is really going to test me. Because it's going to be hard to paint something that small and make it recognizable. Let's see if we can't do this. Oh, you can't even see it. I'm going to hold it up in just a second. Does that look like a wart? I don't know if that looks like a wart or not. That is definitely something there. Hey, Carrie is here. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you back here again. I think you were not here last week. I think, is that right? Were you? There we go. Oh, that's definitely a wart on that nose now. All right, and let's give her some lines on her. All right, she must have some lines on her face here. A couple of them. We can go a little bit darker with those. A couple of extra dots, maybe. Oh, that looks terrible. Oh, look at her nose. All right, and eyes. I'm still waiting for her hair. Is still drying out a little bit. Eyes, eyes, eyes. We can't give her green eyes. Let's see. We can give her black, brown, blue. What color eyes? I missed last week. Had to cook for the shearer. Oh, it's sheep shearing season. Let's see. It's getting to the end of winter for you. And so you're getting the coat off that they had on all winter long so they can prepare for a hot summer. Is that right? She looks happy for being so old. Well, you know, she's out flying around, right? She's happy that she's out and able to fly around. So, you know, I'm going to let her be happy-ish. I'm not going to take that away from her. I think even witches get to be happy from time to time. Everybody deserves a little happiness. I think, right? I think in general, even people who are mean and whatnot are oftentimes happy. Oh, look at how much better that makes it look. Just that little bit. Winter's over now, and yes, Michael, I am spot on. Yes. See, I want to be a homesteader. I'm sometimes I get clued into stuff like that. You know what? That turned out so good. I'm going to go like this and say that. All right, there. Now her. Oh, that looks so good. Her robe is open right there now, where her arm comes out. Oh, it's looking better all the time. Alivio, welcome. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad you're here. Good to see you here. I need to do this shoe here. Let's see. I'm going to mix... I don't want it to be the exact same color as that one. I'm not trying to make it vastly different, but I want that when you see it, your eye is going to go, whoop, two different boots there. All right, they're both going to be quite dark, but just a little bit of difference. Boy, after this, the only thing we might have left is going to be her hair. It's going to have to dry up pretty quickly. Great sleeve, thank you. All right, there's that boot, and who clued me in on this? I'm gonna have to scroll up on my stream. Sue, this is for you. I need to darken her leg up a little bit. That's look at that's way too bright in there. So we need to darken her leg. Yes, I am putting off her hair. Partially because it was wet, partially because I don't like hair. Her eyes. Did we talk about what color her eyes need to be? We got a wart on her nose. Let's see. Nope. I'm gonna do just this little bit. And this is, you probably won't notice this on something this size, but on a bigger painting, you probably would. And it's that I'm going to just put a little bit of color in her eyes. Right? I don't want the whites to be white, white. So I'm just going to drop in a little tiny bit of cerulean blue there. And that's going to kind of make it a little bit more natural color. And I suppose I'm down to the point where I have to do something with her hair, don't I? So Natalie, you suggested my gray from last week, my metal color, or last week, 2 weeks ago. I'll mix a little bit of this in. Mix this a bit stronger. And this color is turquoise plus Payne's gray. Well, that gives it a nice color. Let's go for purple curls intermittently. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about too much color in the hair at this point. Let's worry about getting some hair color in here. Let's see. How do I want to do this? she's gonna have blue hair regardless. Let's see. I think I can. I want that to be a bit darker back here. So let's give some fuller color. Come on. That's not too bad. Oh, it's kind of funny. All right, let's see what we got down here. Some dark color here with just a few. Right, it's got to be a little messy. She's flying through the air, right? It's not meant to be perfect hair. She's looking good, thank you. Oh. There we go. I think that's about all I'm going to do with her hair. Actually, I don't think that's too bad. Actually, I think for as much as I like to paint hair, that's pretty good. She's very stylish. Thank you. And you should know. Right? You would be the one that would be able to determine that. And so I think we basically need some eyes on her, and we're about done, right? I'm looking here. I look up here and I look down here, and sometimes I see different things. But I'm liking the way she's looking. She definitely needs some eyes. Let's see. Let's go with kind of the same boot color. I don't want to make it just black. So I'll do a mix of sepia, which is a warm neutral, a dark neutral, and a little bit of this black. And the M-gram black is a pretty warm black anyways. Oops, and you know what I'm going to do? Daniel M was nice enough to tell me that I could, or show me, or allow me to show that I could do this with a larger brush. I just don't have the confidence. So I'm going to drop down to an even smaller brush here. And I'm going to paint an eye. Probably already helps out. Maybe I'll paint a patch over her. She could be a pirate witch. Yeah, come on. I'm not sure I'm fond of. So, she's got one wonky eye. I think the problem is that I haven't used this enough. There's one or two hairs that's sticking way out. There we go. That's better. And look, she's a witch, right? She's not supposed to have perfect eyes anyways. There we go. I need to put some purple on the boots. I'll put a splash of purple. On the top of the boots. She needs the band all around the white part that you haven't painted, or are you leaving that white? Wait, oh, here. Oh, you're right. Oh, I would have been done with it and gone, all right, let's go on to next week. And then I would have sat back and looked at it and go, oh, I forgot all about that. You're exactly right. There, now she's got a little purple reflection on the top of those shoes. You can't really see much of it. So, this is going to be, see, I'm going to put on a lighter color here first. So a little bit of this ochre. I'm going to mix it in with this other brown that's already here. And then we'll hope this will dry pretty quickly so that we can add a couple of darks to it to really give it that banding. Let's push that down. Give me a, come on, sepia. There. There, how's that? There you go. Yeah, we'll come back and we'll straighten those lines out a little bit. And I think it'll be okay. I think she looks fantastic. I'm going to sign it right here. I was going to do like a yellow behind her, but I think I'm not going to do that for right now. I think she looks pretty good, and if I start messing a little too much, you start getting into the futzing area, right? Where you just go, I should do this, and oh, I should do that. And then pretty soon it's easy to go too far. This is not quite dry enough for me yet. It's easy to go too far, and then you're past a good spot. I think she looks great the way she is. I don't know that she needs some color behind her. I like, so some of the things I really like, right? I like the way the folds in the fabric turned out. up here on her arm, over here, down here. I really think that's fantastic. I like the light on the band here. It's lighter up here, light here, and light up here, and dark behind it. Could even go a little darker back here if I really wanted to. I don't know that I need it. I like the dark down here and under here in those couple places. It really makes the lights stand out, to give her some depth. I think it's great. Well, let's get a couple of lines in here. Line, line, line. There you go. Now you can see there's the banding on there. Everything holding that straw, that hay, whatever, together. Also, I'm not wild about her hands over here. I drew it, and I didn't draw attention to it because I didn't want anybody to see it. But, like, this hand is swollen. Like it's got stung by a bee or something. I don't know. This hand I think looks pretty good, but that one is a little puffy. I don't know. But I'm not going to complain too much about it. If you look at it, you're never just going to look over at her hand and go, oh, it's not proportionately sized. It looks a little weird. But anyways, that's where I'm going to leave this one for this evening. So, Bicycle Repairman, Olivio, I hope that's how you say it, Liza, Carrie, Susie, Sue, Natalie, Daniel, who else was back here? Thirsty for a Brew is here. Susie is here. I don't know. I hope I got everybody who made some comments in here. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday evening and helping to make my Wednesday evening painting a lot of fun. I truly enjoy painting with you guys. You're like all my friends at this point. So thank you for stopping by. Next week, we'll do another painting, maybe a skull. I've got this super creepy three-eyed skull that I've already drawn out. Actually, watch this. I told you it's already Halloween at my house. I've already got a three-eyed skull right here. Look at it. That's the creepiest thing you've ever seen. So maybe we'll do that next week, or maybe I'll do that on my own and post it as a normal video. I'm going to let everybody know probably on Monday, Sunday, or Monday what I'm thinking for next week. But until then, thank you all once again for helping to make my Wednesday evening fantastic. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.